Morning, guys. So today I would like to show you one important development, latest development in JMeter, guys. Since this is coming in the background, like in the last interview, there was one question for me um, on generative AI, artificial intelligence, right? So the question is like, let me open your class notes. So we are hearing this AI everywhere, right? Uh, So, did you try to use any AI in performance testing? That is the question, right? So, the question is, we are hearing about AI, AI as a buzzword. It has become as a buzzword. AI buzz everywhere, or everywhere, or every industry, isn't it? Industry. So, did you try to use AI in performance testing? That is the question that was asked in my last interview, guys. Okay, so you can expect this question in right. You can expect this question if you go to final round. Usually, this will be in managers round. Okay. Uh, yeah, I think Parvin join?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So this is the question that was asked. Uh, Now, I want to show you one latest development in JMeter with respect to this CAA. Okay. So let me launch JMeter. Let me go to your JMeter first. So there is recently, QA Insight has developed one AI plugin, of course, but that is in very nascent stage. And a nascent stage means it's very beginning stage, but some interesting features are there. Okay, it's just a beginning, so like it's not so matured or it's not so developed, but let us explore that. But it would be good if you know this feature at latest development, and if you can answer that, if you can at least mention that there is a new plugin for AI in JMeter. That is enough. You need not explore much. Or I had tried it this morning, and let me show you how to add that, right? So before that, it comes as a plugin, right? So what is a plugin, Akhil? What is a JMeter plugin?
Extra resources which added to the JMeter.
Extra
Resources means extra elements are we can add by the plugin.
features, not
Extra feature.
resources,
Okay, extra features
right? So any additional feature to JMeter is called as a plugin, right?
plugin.
Plugin is nothing but any additional extended feature or extended functionality. And now JMeter has something called plugins manager. If you want to add any additional feature to JMeter, so we need to add this plugins manager to JMeter. How to do that? How to add that JMeter plugin?
Go to tools.
Hmm? What is that?
Tools we can download this.
Uh-huh.
Plugins.
From where?
From tools we can use tools.
First, how do you add JMeter plugins manager to JMeter first of all?
Okay, install J plugins.
Okay. So Google search for JMeter plugins, go to jmeterplugins.org.
ORG.
Okay. Guys, you have to elaborate your answer like this. Okay. So you remember that website jmeterplugins.org. Okay.
Install plugins.
So Google search for JMeter plugins, and it will take you to that the very first link will be jmeterplugins.org. Remember
ORG.
that website, right? And now go there and download jmeterplugins.jar.
Jar.
Right. So here you have something called plugins manager. And what is the jar file name? You need to download a jar file. What is
Jar.
that jar file name?
Plugin manager dot jar.
Jar RK.
JMeter
Java,
plugins.jar.
Java class.
Jar. Like
JMeter
plugins
plugins dot
data.
okay. You need to remember these names, guys. JMeter plugins dot manager, JMeter plugins manager, right? Or JMeter plugins manager dot jar file. Okay. And then what next? You once you download it, where do you add that?
lib ext folder.
Right. Copy that jar file to JMeter's libext directory, libext folder. And then what next?
Restart the JMeter.
Restart JMeter. Right. Right. That is how we add JMeter plugins manager. And once you add plugins manager, you get this option, plugins manager option. Now, if you want to add any additional feature to JMeter, go to available plugins and search it over there. And the new, new JMeter, AI plugin that was added to JMeter is, the name is Featherwand. Featherwand JMeter AI agent. Okay. Featherwand JMeter AI agent. And it was developed by QAinsights.com. You see there, vendor is QAinsights.com. Okay. Do you know this website QA Insights, or do you know that guy?
No.
QA Insights is very popular website, guys. Okay. See, there is another question in the interview. Let me know. Yesterday evening, I had explained in the evening batch. Okay, let me bring up that class notes. So one of the another interview important FAQ is, so what do you do usually when you get some free time? When you don't have any work in your project, what do you usually do? This is another frequently asked questions in the interview. Okay. So, and like what, how do you answer that?
We'll go with
Hmm? Whenever you get some free time in your organization or in your project, so what do you usually, how do you spend that time?
we spend on learning new tech
How do
skills.
you, good. How do you
Tech
learn those?
skills. Tech skills. Like the w3school.com.
WP skills only, that only or that one? Any other websites or any other sites that are helpful for for you getting latest knowledge or latest information or tech updates or tech news?
Tech news.
Huh.
Tech updates,
What
tech
are the
news.
other websites? You have a lot of other websites. Remember at least like a couple of websites like this. So medium.com. So to
Medium.com.
do some new courses, Java tutorials. Why Java is important, you know that, right? Java basics are important for performance engineers, isn't it? So you need to, you can learn some Java fundamentals or latest developments in Java. Or Perf is one website dedicated for performance testing, W3 schools, D-Zone, Scalar Academy. Like, if you want to, so Scalar Academy offers some free webinars regularly on Docker, Kubernetes, latest technologies like AWS, Azure, right? So, whenever, any new, whenever they are starting a new course on latest technologies, they will provide some free webinars, right? They're absolutely free. They will provide 3 hours free webinars, right? So you can say that like you have to do this, like we visit that Scalar Academy website and register for any free webinars, or we go to AWS website, AWS or Azure websites, and see join their free trainings, right? And QA Insights is one other popular website for for in the testing space. Okay, so QA Insights. And like this guy, that guy's name is Naveen, the like this guy. So this guy, like he's into performance testing, and he's so active in performance testing space. And like this team, their QA Insights team has developed one like this what is this, one plugin for for integrating AI into JMeter. Okay, so now you should know at least that websites. If you say I don't know what is QA Insights, that means you are not up to date, or you are not learning. You are not keeping yourself up to date. Agree with me? You should know Performatics website. Performatics is a dedicated website for performance testing, right? And Scalar Academy, is very popular, right? DZone is one popular website, for technical articles and all those technical stuff. W3 Schools is one popular website, right? Medium.com is popular website for learning new courses and all, isn't it? So now, right? So you can say that, like whenever I come across any interesting technical discussions, I usually bookmark them and explore them in my free time, right? I had faced this interview many times, guys. Please remember this, okay? And please, in case you face the same interview question, please remember or please understand how to answer that. Clear, guys? And now that is about QA Insights. And now, vendor QAinsights.com is they had developed this, they had developed this agent, JMeter AI agent. Clear, guys? And now once you add that, like, see, observe here, they gave some examples on how it works. How can I use it? Right? Do you see that? Groovy script to list of wheres. Groovy script to list the wheres. So that is the question. And this is the response that plugin has given. Get the JMeter variables object def vars is equal to. It gave the code for that, list of groove. The code for Groovy script to list the variables, isn't it? Wonderful, right? And now let me add this, like apply changes and restart JMeter. And you should also, like attend, whenever I come across any webinar on AI, I am attending. I told that already in my previous sessions. Remember that. So let me show you. Last weekend, I had attended one webinar on generative AI, and I took some notes. I think I had shown that in one of the previous sessions, right? So you have to be up to date, right? So whenever you are into IT, if you want to make your career in IT, you should be ready to learn throughout lifetime. Agree?
Yes.
Did I show this? Did I show that, like, I had attended this webinar like last weekend, and like I took some notes from there. How to use ChatGPT for taking mock interviews. You can use ChatGPT to to attempt some mock interviews. Okay, if you upload your CV to ChatGPT and if you ask ChatGPT to take an interview, it will based on your skill set and based on your CV, it will ask you some questions. Wonderful, right? Yes or no, yes.
Yes.
And how to like how to write an article using AI article writer. There is something called AI article writer 6, right? That is another website, another application, web application. Okay. And to make AI read from in, there are these are few things that they covered in that in that session, in that webinar, right? So all these sessions they charge usually 99 rupees. That's it, 99 or 199. For 2 or 3 hour session they charge 199 or 199 rupees. So whenever I come across any of those, anything new, I'll pay that 99 and I'll attend those. So Perplexity, this is another, like research intern using AI at your service. So suppose if you want to have a research intern, right? One solution is Perplexity. Suppose, see, this is also like some artificial and AI enabled, website, right? Which like you can use for your day-to-day works. You can also if you want to research or if you want to explore some new concept, right? So you can use this Perplexity, or like this is not useful for us, but you can compose music using AI. It seems this is one tool. Become a data scientist without code or coding skills. There is a tool called Data Analyzer, right? This is, of course, this is a custom tool, in-house tool from Growth School. So this like this webinar is from Growth School. So it is a startup which is focused on AI and marketing. Okay. So there is one more website called Script Kiddle, right? I took some notes and I took some screenshots. If required, I will explore that later. To explore that later. Okay. So make it as a habit. Don't be active on Instagram, but be active on LinkedIn till you get a good job at least. Right. Now let me go back to this and now observe here, once you restart your JMeter, you see this icon, right? AI chat panel. You got a new icon for what is meant by toggle. See, toggle AI chat panel. If I put my cursor on, hover my mouse on that icon, it is saying the tooltip is reading as toggle AI chat panel, right? You know what? You know what is a tooltip, right?
Yes.
So when you hover your mouse, on any icon, you get a small box, right? Here you are getting a blue color box, isn't it? Light blue color box, and that is called as tooltip. And it is reading as like it is mentioned as toggle AI chat panel. Means you toggle means what is the meaning of toggle?
On off.
On off switch, right? So we discussed this, guys, right? Did we discuss or no? Toggle is a on off switch, right? Now, so click on that if you want to launch that AI panel. So click on that, and then here you go. So you got that AI agent or JMeter agent. And now observe here, how can it is asking. So read that. Welcome to Feather Wand, JMeter agent. I can help you create and modify JMeter test plans. You can ask me to add JMeter elements to your test plan, optimize your test plan for better performance, get help with JMeter Groovy scripting and best practices and more. Right. And it is mentioned that AI can make mistakes, so double check it, right? And so it's our responsibility ultimately, like it can be there, it may not give a perfect solution, it is our responsibility to check that. So AI cannot replace the jobs, isn't it? Again, at the end of the day, like we have to make sure that it is any solution is meeting our requirements or not, isn't it? Right. And recently, like not recently, like sometime before, so this is one of the common question asked by many people, like when they come for inquiry or when they inquire for training, right? One of the common question that that people ask, so like we are hearing that AI will replace jobs, so like what will be the feature of performance testing? Yeah, or is there any threat for performance testing from AI? Our jobs, or is there any threat for our jobs from AI, isn't it? So like I'll show you one simple like image to actually no, it is a well-known fact that AI will not replace jobs. The one who implements AI will replace the jobs. Who doesn't implement AI, right? The one who implement means who explores and uses AI will replace your job. AI will not directly replace your jobs, right? So if you learn AI, like artificial intelligence, to some extent, need not be like using, for your complete work, right? So that will increase your productivity. And if you are not using AI, the one who learns AI, learns and implements AI will replace your jobs, right? And now this is, like, so we have to keep updated ourselves updated with the latest technologies, right? You see, not only in IT, right? Any field, you have to keep updated with your latest technology. Agree with me, guys? Otherwise, we'll become obsolete like Nokia company, or HMD, all these. Yes or no? Classic example is Nokia or Yahoo, right? So remember that case. Yahoo, everyone used to use Yahoo Mail before, but is and previously we used to have Yahoo and Rediff and all this. But right now everyone is using Gmail, right? Do you see anyone using Yahoo or Rediff Mail now?
No.
So why because why? Because they didn't update with the latest technologies, right? They didn't keep up the pace with the latest technologies. This Yahoo or Nokia, isn't it? They didn't keep themselves updated with the latest technologies. It's not only with IT, isn't it? Now, we have to keep updated with the latest technologies. Now, let's say what is it asking? What is it asking? Like, how can I assist you today? We'll do one thing. So I'll give a prompt. Of course, you should know how to, like how to give a prompt to that, right? So even when you are using Chat GPT or, any of these websites, generative AI websites, you should know how to use a proper prompt, how to even if you want to use Google, right, you should know how to do Google search properly. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? So if you don't know
Yes.
how to do Google search properly, that will not be helpful, right? We can't do our day-to-day job, isn't it? So similarly for AI also, whether it is ChatGPT or any AI website, you should know how to give a proper prompt, isn't it? Proper prompt. That is called as prompt engineering, right? You might have heard this prompt engineering. Prompt engineering means like how to design a prompt or how to give a proper prompt, isn't it? So now, I'll do just, I'll just give a try. I'm giving it as add a thread group to JMeter test plan to JMeter test plan. Just an example. I'm just trying an example. Add thread group to JMeter test plan and click on send. Now added one thread group. Yes, sir, no, guys. Are you
Yes,
with
sir.
me? Add transaction controller to thread group. Let me try this. I did not try this before. I came across this, this morning only. Morning when I am, as soon as I wake up, when I am, browsing through LinkedIn, I came across in this article and immediately I tried it. Okay. And I thought of, showing you this one. So add transaction controller to thread group. Now it added a transaction controller. Wonderful, right? And then, see, you have some options also. You have some ready-made options also. No need to type that also. Just click on this add HTTP request. To the transaction controller, we add a HTTP request, right? Just click on this button. Okay. It's not working. I could not add the HTTP request. Please make sure you have selected an appropriate location in the test plan. I had selected transaction controller, but it is not working. So that's what I said, right? It is still in nascent stage. Nascent means it is still in the very beginning stage. Okay. I had observed some, sometimes it is unable to fulfill. But see, even though I selected transaction controller, we can add a HTTP request to transaction controller, right? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Or else let me try this. I'll select thread group and I'll click this one. Add HTTP request. No, it's not working, isn't it? And that is what it is mentioned here, right? AI can make mistakes, so double check it. Okay. And it is in the very beginning stage. That's my observation or that's my understanding. Okay. However, this is we have some plugin uh, for we have some plugin for AI in JMeter as well, right? And then you can also optimize your test plan for better performance, it seems. I'll do one thing. I'll open one of the test scripts, and I will ask to optimize the test plan. Let's see that. I'll open AOS user registration script. And let's say we have some debug sampler added to that. We have some debug sampler, view results tree, summary report, aggregate report, active threads, or time graph, etc. Now, I will try this. I'll try this. I'll ask this, feather wand. Remember that name at least, okay? Note down the name and or remember the name. So I will give a prompt like optimize my test plan named AOS for load test execution. So, if you want to prepare this test plan for load test execution, what do you do, guys? How do you optimize your resource utilization in JMeter?
Disable the listeners and samplers.
Right. Disable debug sampler and disable all the listeners, isn't it? So that is how we optimize the resources. We had discussed this already, isn't it? Our best practices. Where did we discuss how to optimize the JMeter resources? So we have to run in non-JM mode by using this command. And one of the important thing is like it's better to use as few listeners as possible, and don't use view results tree or view results in table listeners during load test. Use them only during scripting phase, right? We had already discussed this, isn't it? Use as few assertions as possible. So there are some ways to reduce the resource requirements in JMeter, isn't it? Now, I'm trying that. I'm not sure if it works or not, but I'm trying that. I said I gave a prompt like optimize my test plan named AOS for load test plan, right? And click on send and let's see what happens if it does something. It did something. Okay. No, it did not disable any of those, isn't it? But at least it is showing some, like hold on. It is showing some information here, right? Oh, wonderful. Post request without parameters. Verify if this is intentional. So it gave a lot of information, right? Observe here. I think, it is not directly doing the job, but it is giving some suggestions, isn't it? I have analyzed, see, that is done in fraction of a second, isn't it? Yes or no, guys? That's done in fraction of a second. And it gave some test plan optimization report. What is it saying? I have analyzed your test plan structure and identified the following optimization opportunities. Okay, I will make it, I'll enlarge this. Get to hang. Second, guys. Let me close some unnecessary websites or unnecessary tabs just to free up some RAM. That's it. Because I see it is crossing 80%, right? Okay, now it came down below 80%. Now let me try to. It is working. Is it working? No, maybe it doesn't. I know. Okay, that's fine. So we will scroll over then, right? What is it saying? Low thread count. This may not generate sufficient load for performance testing unless this is intentional. No assertions found. Consider adding assertions to validate responses, right? No connection timeout set. Consider adding a timeout. 5,000 milliseconds to avoid hanging requests, right? No connection timeout. And then what are the other suggestions that it is giving? Consider adding extractors if this request returns dynamic data. No assertions found. See, I think I did not add response assertions to this. Wonderful, right? Okay. But here I added one response assertion for this home page. Let me check if I added response assertions. Okay. I had already added response assertions, but where is it saying? Maybe it is looking at all the request, and it is giving that session. What else? Did it speak about samplers anywhere? That is important, right? Let's see if it spoke about any samplers, or is it showing any sessions about disabling the samplers or listeners? Because that it should give that one, isn't it?
Yes.
See, it is showing transaction by transaction. Observe here, no assertions found. So okay. So these are the recommendations or sessions for click create new account. What are those? First one is it is saying no connection timeout. But by default, default timeout, actually you'll have a by default the timeout value will be 60 seconds in JMeter. So here you can see that this is what I'm talking about. Even though we don't specify any value here, the by default timeout value connection timeout value is 60 seconds from JMeter 3 onwards. If you have any doubt, like Google search for that default connection timeout in JMeter 5.600. You'll read it somewhere as 60 seconds. Okay, by default, it is a default response timeout in JMeter. Connection timeout, not a default timeout in JMeter is 20 seconds, it seems. But from when is this? No, this is very old article. From JMeter 3 onwards, default timeout is 60 seconds. That's what I know. Let me go to that, Apache JMeter website and show you that. So you'll have, like if you go to down release notes, right? If you go to release notes, you will see there somewhere you'll see that. I think this was introduced in 5.3 actually. You should search in 5.3. I had removed that slide actually recently, but it used to be there in my previous. Wait, just give me a moment. This is fine. 4 version. But as it did not found, it is like suggesting that. But actually, by default, there is a connection timeout of from JMeter 5.3 onwards. I'll go to JMeter 5.3 core improvements. So
We can specify also, na, sir?
yeah, we
Means
can
it is
also
by
specify,
default
but
6.
default value, okay, this is HTTP client time to live. It is about connections. You see, you read it here. This means HTTP connections will live longer than before. And this, see, I did not prepare this document, guys. This is an extract from JMeter website only, official JMeter website when 5.3 was released, right? So by default, this HTTP connection timeout is 60 seconds in JMeter. But as it did not found any value, it is showing that to add some connection. But no need of that. You need not bother about that, But like, is it telling something about, see, observe here, boundary extractor with invalid match number. Okay. Do you see that, it is showing some warning over there in which request? Which request is this submit registration form? Let's go there and see that submit registration form. See, this is talking about this one. There is no match number specified under this transaction submit registration form, isn't it? Hey, one more thing. Response assertion with empty pattern. Assertion may not work. C underscore user ID. Boundary extractor. Boundary extractor with no boundaries defined. Boundary, no default value. Right? See, this telling about this default value and all this. Right? For base 64 token, it is saying, assertion may not work or something. And extractor with no reference names. Boundary extractor with no boundaries defined. Boundary extractor with invalid match number. Right? In which request is that it is showing that request number also as 1302, isn't it? In 1302, it is saying that boundary extractor with invalid match number because I did not mention any match number here, isn't it? So it should be like it's always better to, it's always, by default, it is one, of course. Default is one. It is saying that default one, right? But better to mention that match number and also give default value. So how should you give that default value? We discussed it already. Did we discuss what is default value?
Yes, not found.
So if these left and right boundaries are not found in the response, like we have to. So this will be like if you give some default value. Sorry, if you give some default value, it will print. It will save this value into this variable, isn't it? So that is what it is talking about. Default value is missing. Wonderful, right? But it still needs a lot of improvement because it is never. It did not mention anything about listeners, isn't it? Right. So anyways, it is helpful to some extent, like if some for a beginner, it will be very much helpful. Agree? And as as time passes by, like they will be improving that, like that that agent or that plugin, right? So every now and then they update the plugins, right? See, if you observe here, what is the latest plugins manager? What is the latest plugins manager? 1.jar, right? 1.10, sorry, 1.10.jar. So like JMeter will Apache, so Software Foundation will update that plugin whenever they found that they got some additional improvements, significant improvements. They will update that plugins manager, and like you will get more additional features, right? But add this plugin and start using this. Okay, start experimenting this, and please remember that AI can make mistakes, so double check that. Now again, to give an example for that, let me show you one, one interesting pic that I came across internet, recently. So, you can read that statement. So this is the assumption, right? AI will probably take over the world and end us all in the future. This is a myth or a assumption, isn't it? But what happened here? AI camera mistakes referees bald head for ball means there is an AI camera which misunderstood the referee's bald head it thought like it is a ball and it follows it throughout the match, it seems. It followed that throughout the match, it seems, right? So this is enough, like, like that to confirm that like AI will not replace us. But if you don't learn and implement AI, the one who learns and implements AI will replace us. AI will not replace our jobs directly. Yes or no, guys? Are you with me, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, so I'll stop it here, guys, for today, but we'll continue tomorrow. So, any queries, guys, before we close today's session? Observe here, JMeter is taking more than 1 GB of RAM. Do you see that? Do you see that, or do you agree that, JMeter is taking more than 1 GB of RAM? See how much is, see, this is related, this process is related to JMeter. Do you see that over here? This is nothing but JMeter script. And how much memory it is taking? 1050 MB RAM, right? Then, if your JMeter hangs or freezes, see, I'm not running any test. I just opened a script. That's it. Isn't it? Of course, maybe because of this, this JMeter agent, it is taking more RAM. Okay. So, but like in case, like if you're, when you are running a script or when you are running a test, if you see that, JMeter is taking more than 1 GB RAM, you can increase the heap memory for JMeter. Did we discuss this? I think we did not discuss this in this batch. Let me cover that also. So if you see, if you're when you are working on any real-time applications which are having a lot of when you are when you are going through recording log, right? When you are going through recording log, or like sometimes JMeter hangs, right? If you go through this recording log and if you are moving from one request to another request, if you select response data, let me close this one. How to close this, click on the toggle again, okay, to close that. That's it, right? So that is what a toggle means, right? It works as an on and off switch. If you want to turn it on, or click on it again, click on it, like if you want to turn it off or remove it, right? And now, when you are navigating from one request to another request, sometimes you might have observed that JMeter will hang or freeze. How many of you observed it?
Yes, sir.
Right. So now, to overcome this issue, or if you are seeing, if you whenever if you see OOM issue in this, in this log viewer panel, right? In case you see log viewer OOM messages in the log viewer panel, it is high time that you need to increase the heap memory for JMeter. How do you see? Observe here. Now it went up to 1105 MB, isn't it? So let me launch that AI agent, or again, and see, like, see, it is going up to, it went up to 1102 MB, isn't it? Are you seeing my cursor, or are you seeing my mouse? Did you observe that? This is what I'm referring to, guys. Or let me highlight it. I'm talking about this one. So right now, JMeter is consuming 1102 MB of RAM, right? But by default, 1 GB of memory only will be allocated for JMeter. I had increased it to 2 GB. I had increased that, I had increased it to 2 GB in one of the JMeter instances. I'm not sure whether I increased for this one or not. Let me check. Let me show you that, or let me show you how to increase the heap memory allocation for JMeter. So you go to your JMeter bin folder, open jmeter.bat, right? So, which JMeter are we using, guys, currently? JMeter evening batch. Is it JMeter evening batch? Okay. Otherwise, let me show you that, like where to increase it. And we are already having one recorded session on my YouTube channel for this OOM issue. First, let me show you that. And I had clearly explained, like once you change the heap memory allocation, how to validate it also. That was also covered. JMeter OOM issue. This one, OOM issue with JMeter, and how to increase JMeter heap size and how to validate the heap size. Once you increase it, like how to validate, how to verify whether it increased or not. And I gave the code here. I gave some custom code here, which you need to add to JSR223 sampler to check JMeter heap size. Because even after increasing, I'll show you first. Let me go to this JMeter. And let me first increase that. Okay, let me first increase that heap memory. Okay, let me show you where to increase it. If it is not increased in this, I have multiple JMeter instances on my machine. So let me show where can we increase it quickly. Doesn't take much time. So where is your, go to your jmeter.bat. Okay, go to your locate your jmeter.bat file and open with edit with Notepad++ and Google search. Sorry, and search for heap. Okay, in this file, Control F and search for heap. The word heap, right? Till you find this entry. See, do you see that here? By default it is 1 GB. It will be 1 GB by default. If you want to, if you want to confirm, please check your JMeter. Please check your JMeter instance. Okay. So open jmeter.bat in any editor and check yourself. By default, this will be 1 GB. I had increased it to 2 GB. As you clearly see over here, I made from 1 GB, I had updated it 2 GB, and max metaspace will be by default 256 MB, which I increased it to 512 MB. Okay. So now once you made this change, you need to restart your JMeter. And that is why, it is JMeter is able to take, like more than 1024 MB from there, and we are not having any slowness in JMeter right now, isn't it? But if you keep the default value itself, whenever that JMeter memory utilization is crossing 1 GB, you'll see some slowness in JMeter. You'll observe some slowness or JMeter hangs or freezes. This will be 256 MB by default. So as I doubled this value from 1 GB to 2 GB, I had doubled this value also. We need to double this value as well. Clear, guys? Actually, metaspace expands on runtime actually. Okay. That is, from Java 8 onwards, they introduced this new feature called metaspace. It will expand dynamically on runtime. But this is mandatory. Like if your JMeter is hanging or freezing, you can increase this heap size from 1 GB to 2 GB, from the default 1 GB to 2 GB. And what garbage collection algorithm JMeter is using? Observe here. JMeter is by default using G1GC. This is one of the garbage collection algorithm. G1GC is one of the popular garbage collection algorithm. Okay. And one unique feature or one advantage with this G1GC is this one. You can set max GC pass time. Here it is set to 100 milliseconds. Max GC pass time can be set. We can set a limit to max GC pass time. What is the meaning of this max GC pass millis? How much time can this garbage collection pass your JMeter application? That is what it means. The max GC pass time allowed here is 100 milliseconds, right? Which is negligible, isn't it? So this is how you can increase JMeter heap size. And if your JMeter is hanging, this hack will be helpful to overcome those JMeter hanging or freezing issues. Okay. And once you restart, once you make this change, save that change and restart your JMeter. But still, even though even after restarting JMeter, here in the console, it shows only as 1 GB because let it come up. Let it come up. I will explain. I want to explain something. Many people get confused here. So default 1 GB untadi ikkada in JMeter console. In JMeter console, it will show by default as 1 GB. Even after changing, also see, observe here. This is what I'm talking about, right? Even if you change 2 GB or 3 GB, here it will show as 1 GB only because this is default value. Observe here. This is default value. They are saying that, what JMeter is saying, if you want to increase Java heap to meet your test requirements, modify the current environment variable heap is equal to in JMeter batch file. And that is what I had shown just now. I had increased from 1 GB to 2 GB. And by default, max metaspace will be 256 MB. So as far as I know, if we increase this heap size, we need to increase this one also. This max metaspace size also appropriately in the same ratio. As I doubled it, I had doubled this metaspace size also, max metaspace size also, right? So, but actually it got increased to 2 GB. Okay, for sure. If you want to check that, here is the code for that. You need to add this custom code to your JSR223 sampler and run this script. Just this Just these 2 lines of code. That's it. These 2 lines of code are enough. Just add these 2 lines of code to your JSR223 sampler. Run the script and it will show you what is the heaps memory currently. Okay. We are
Sir,
using
please
a,
paste that in chat.
what is that?
Paste that code in chat.
This link.
Previously, I increased the heap size.
Hmm.
Yes.
I'll
Previously,
share
I
this.
increased heap size, but
But
I
what
was
happened?
working for one of the script previously. That time, na heap size I increased 1 GB to 2 GB, but
Okay.
even increasing, I system got hanging, and if I check in task manager, heap size is more than 2 GB. I observed that
Okay.
previously.
Then you need to check what is the memory utilization at that moment. Maybe it crossed 90% or 80%, right? So you should also have enough RAM in your system. Okay. See, observe here, even though I am having 16 GB RAM currently on my machine, right? I'm having 16 GB RAM, but available memory is only 3 GB. Do you see that available memory is only 2 GB? And that is why, like memory utilization is crossing 80%. Do you see that here? If you go to performance tab and if you see like, process, sorry, go to process and if you see there, it is crossing 80% or it is touching 80%. On Windows operating system, your memory utilization should be below 80%, right? We had discussed this thing also, if you remember.
Yes. That time memory utilization is under 80, sir. Under
Okay.
80%.
Then see the CPU utilization. Okay. You need to, check CPU and memory utilization and disk utilization as well.
Sorry, you need to
Oh,
travel for Amazfit. Already it is 9:35.
Yeah, sure. I'll stop it here. Thanks, Akhil, for reminding. Okay, we'll stop it here for guys for today and we'll continue tomorrow. So I'll share this link in your WhatsApp group, this recorded session, this particular recorded session. So, this is one of the important concept for interviews. Suppose, like if you are getting out of memory issues when you are running a test with JMeter, what would be your approach or how do you tackle that? Or, how do you resolve it, right? So we can resolve OM issue with JMeter by increasing the JMeter heap size. And where should we change that in? Where should we update that heap size in JMeter?
Bin folder. Under bin folder, you can go for bat file.
Right. We need to go to JMeter bin folder and JMeter update it in JMeter.bat file.
Bat
Or
file.
that is JMeter batch file. Bat for batch, isn't it?
Batch.
So this is Windows batch file. You see that clearly over here. The file type is mentioned as Windows batch file, isn't it? So bat means this extension bat means nothing but batch file. Clear? Okay. So I'm going to upload this video as a public video. So please, click a like, guys. This is a request to my subscribers. If you like the session, so please click a like to support us, and it reaches to maximum, other audience or other participants. And thanks for watching till now, and have a nice day. And this is our Insta page, guys. So please follow our Insta page if you want to receive updates on current openings, particularly performance testing. You'll see more of performance testing openings. However, we are sharing other openings as well that we come across and we collect from various sources. And we are uploading those openings, to help those who are in job search through our Instagram page. So please follow our Instagram page if you want to receive free updates, daily 4 to 5 updates on the current openings, both fresher openings as well as experienced openings. Signing off, this is Pawan from MGMIT Training. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.